Imagine this, a silent traveler from the depths of interstellar space, streaking through our solar system at 124,000 miles per hour. For months, astronomers believed 3I Atlas was merely another cosmic drifter, a comet perhaps, or a fragment of ancient rock wandering between stars. But last week, the Gemini North Observatory in Hawaii captured something that shattered that assumption. Atlas is not alone. Several smaller, luminous objects, tiny sparks in the dark, are following it. Each moves in perfect synchrony, tracing a path so precise it borders on choreography. These are not random smudges, nor artifacts of a faulty telescope lens. They are distinct, verified points of light, traveling together through the void. It is as if a convoy, not a solitary object, were passing through our celestial neighborhood. Now, as physicists, we are trained to be cautious. Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. The simplest explanation must always be tested first. Could these be mere fragments, pieces torn from Atlas as it approached the sun and began to heat? That would be reasonable. Yet what we observe refuses to behave like debris. There are no tumbling motions, no chaotic scatter, no expanding dust trails. Instead, the movement appears coherent, stable, even, organized. Amateur astronomers from Namibia to Germany have confirmed the same formation, their telescopes capturing time-lapse images of the glowing procession crossing the night sky. One researcher noted, almost trembling, their holding position. So what then are we witnessing? Coincidence? An illusion of perspective? Or the first hint of something profoundly new? A structure, a pattern, a purpose emerging from the darkness between worlds. For now, the data only deepens the mystery. But if 3I Atlas truly travels with companions, the question becomes unavoidable. What kind of traveler brings a fleet? Stay curious, because in science, every mystery is the universe inviting us to ask a better question.
Wait, enhance the outer edges. See those?
When the first images arrived from Hawaii's Gemini Observatory, I thought there must have been a calibration error. A single comet moving through the darkness was expected, but not this. Surrounding 3I Atlas were faint companions, small pinpoints of light, tracing almost identical arcs across the heavens. At first glance, they looked like optical ghosts, the kind of artifacts that plague long-exposure astrophotography. Yet, as the data poured in from independent observatories around the world, the same pattern emerged. Multiple luminous bodies, all keeping precise formation with the primary object, as if bound by some invisible thread of intention. Science teaches us to be cautious. Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. So naturally, the first explanation considered was fragmentation, a comet shedding its skin as it nears the sun. It's a familiar story, written countless times across our solar system. As solar radiation heats the nucleus, ice vaporizes, releasing gas and dust, tearing the comet into chaotic clouds of debris. The fragments scatter like cosmic confetti, each tumbling erratically through space. But that is not what we see here. The companions of 3I Atlas are not tumbling. They are not drifting apart. They move with coherence, steady, deliberate, synchronized. Their spacing remains constant, their velocities nearly identical. If they are fragments, they are behaving in a way no natural debris ever has. Imagine driving behind a convoy on a dark highway, each vehicle maintaining exact distance, turning in perfect unison. Would you call that coincidence or choreography? Amateur astronomers across Europe and South America have captured time-lapse videos confirming this same uncanny behavior. In each frame, the smaller objects trace symmetrical paths alongside the comet's glowing nucleus, like satellites escorting a flagship through interstellar space. Such precision invites unsettling questions. Are we witnessing a natural phenomenon shaped by laws we don't yet understand? Or are these bodies moving under guidance, perhaps mechanical, perhaps magnetic, perhaps something entirely beyond our comprehension? As a physicist, I resist leaping towards sensational conclusions. But I also know that every major breakthrough in science began as an anomaly, a pattern that didn't fit. 3. I-Atlas and its silent companions now occupy that uncomfortable frontier between coincidence and design, between the known and the unknowable. And in that narrow space of mystery, humanity once again stands on the edge of revelation. At first, it appeared as a fleeting illusion, an emerald shimmer that danced on the edge of perception, like a ghostly heartbeat pulsing through the dark. Astronomers dismissed it as an atmospheric artifact, a trick of optics or interference. But then, it happened again, and again. The green flash, subtle yet undeniable, emerged not from the sun, but from 3I Atlas itself, as though the cosmos had blinked in our direction. Here lies the enigma. Comets glow green for a reason we've understood for nearly a century. The culprit is the diatomic carbon molecule, C2, fluorescing under ultraviolet sunlight. It's a beautiful, predictable chemistry, carbon chains breaking apart and releasing that soft jade luminescence. Yet, when Chile's Very Large Telescope turned its massive spectroscopic eye toward 3I Atlas, the data revealed something impossible, an almost complete absence of those very carbon molecules. No C2, no CH, no CN. The comet was practically carbon sterile, and yet it glowed green. How can light be born from the absence of its source? Some suggested exotic reactions, perhaps ionized oxygen, or silicate luminescence triggered by solar winds. Others proposed electrical discharge phenomena, miniature auroras rippling through the dust tail. But none of these explanations fit. The glow was too coherent, too stable, too deliberate. It pulsed at intervals, not random flickering, but rhythm. Then came the anomaly that unsettled even the skeptics. At precisely 30 seconds into an observation sequence, a German astrophotographer known as Night Monkey captured a diffused green halo detaching briefly from the comet's nucleus before fading into the void. The event was verified by multiple independent observers. It was not a lens flare. It was not cosmic noise. It was something real, something that moved. So, what are we truly witnessing? Could 3I Atlas be generating energy through mechanisms we've never observed? Perhaps photonic conversion or plasma resonance along an engineered surface? Or are we staring at the signature of materials beyond our periodic table elements that hum under starlight in frequencies alien to human chemistry? As a physicist, I'm compelled to ask not what it is, but why. Nature seldom repeats herself without reason. Every glow, every vibration, every anomaly carries information, an encoded message written in the syntax of physics itself. Perhaps the universe is not merely showing us a comet. Perhaps it's showing us a mirror, illuminated in green fire, inviting us to confront how little we truly know about the cosmic neighborhood we call home. There are moments in science when an observation doesn't merely challenge a theory, it defies the very scaffolding upon which that theory stands. 3. I-Atlas is one such moment. By all conventional reasoning, it should no longer exist. This interstellar wanderer races through the void at over 100,000 miles per hour, fast enough to circle Earth 4 times in a single minute. Its structure, according to early density readings, is hollow, fragile, more akin to a snowflake than a stone. And yet, impossibly, it endures. In early October, it passed through the fury of a solar coronal mass ejection, a storm of plasma fierce enough to shred the magnetic field of a planet. For any comet, such exposure is fatal. The bombardment of charged particles should have torn its nucleus apart, scattering it into vapor. But when the dust cleared, 3I Atlas remained untouched. Its form was intact, its rotation unchanged. Not a single trace of debris trailed behind. How can something so delicate survive conditions that annihilate solid rock? Some astrophysicists have proposed that it's composed of hyperporous ice, an airy, sponge-like lattice that disperses heat efficiently. Others argue it could be armored in silicate compounds, a kind of cosmic ceramic capable of withstanding thermal extremes. But none of these hypotheses explain its behavior. Thermal simulations show no measurable expansion or contraction, no outbursts. No evidence of sublimation on the scale expected from a volatile body approaching the sun. Instead, 3I Atlas behaves as if it regulates its own temperature, a feat no natural object should achieve. It is as though the comet knows how to preserve itself. To some, this sounds like fantasy. But remember, many ideas once labeled impossible later became textbook reality. Magnetism was once considered magic. The atom, a philosophical abstraction. Quantum tunneling, an absurdity. Yet here we stand, powered by principles our ancestors could scarcely imagine. So we must ask, could 3I Atlas be demonstrating a principle of physics we have not yet uncovered? A form of self-stabilization that mimics intelligence? Or, if one dares to think further, might intelligence itself be written into its design? Perhaps its hollow architecture is not a flaw, but a feature. A structure built not to endure by accident, but to survive by intent. When I look at 3I Atlas, I don't see a passive traveler. I see a test, a question the universe has placed before us. Can we, the species that split the atom and decoded the genome, recognize the difference between chaos and design when it drifts silently across the night sky? Because if we cannot, then the most profound discovery of our age may already have passed us by burning green, unbroken and unafraid, through the heart of the sun's relentless fire. Every once in a while, the universe whispers a question so unsettling that even scientists hesitate to answer. 3I Atlas is whispering one now. When astronomers modeled its internal mass distribution, they found something that should not exist in nature, a density so low that it borders on the absurd. It is, by all accounts, mostly empty space. Yet this emptiness behaves with a strange kind of intelligence, maintaining symmetry and stability even under the violent forces of solar radiation. How can a hollow body move with such precision? If we follow the laws of celestial mechanics, a hollow comet should wobble erratically as it spins, shedding layers of dust and gas in uneven bursts. But 3I Atlas rotates like a balanced gyroscope, its motion steady, its luminous halo unwavering. This is not the random dance of a drifting rock. It is choreography. And here the mind begins to wander toward uncomfortable possibilities. If its hollow nature is intentional, it would make perfect engineering sense. By removing the dense core, the total mass is dramatically reduced, making interstellar travel exponentially easier. A hollow shell could protect delicate instruments or cargo from cosmic radiation. Its rotation could be deliberately tuned to maintain orientation and internal stability, and its composition, possibly involving unknown materials, might explain the faint gravitational anomalies recorded by the Gemini Observatory. Could 3I Atlas be a vessel rather than a visitor? Skeptics recoil from such speculation, and rightly so. Science demands restraint, but history also demands humility. Every revolution in understanding from Copernicus to Einstein began with an observation that felt heretical to the science of its time. If an object were constructed, not accreted, the signature would not be its materials alone, but its behavior, its refusal to decay, its silence in chaos, its improbable perfection. 3I Atlas fits that profile unsettlingly well. Perhaps what we are seeing is not technology as we know it, but geometry as intent and artifact of a civilization so advanced that design and nature have become indistinguishable. To them, shaping matter might be as effortless as we shape thought. And yet, this hypothesis is not a declaration, it is an invitation. Because whether 3I Atlas is a comet sculpted by nature's chaos or an object sculpted by cosmic intelligence, both answers are equally profound. One teaches us that physics still hides untold secrets within its equations. The other suggests that intelligence, once born, may travel not just through space, but through epochs, leaving behind fragments of its imagination in the dust between stars. Perhaps that is what we are truly witnessing. Not an alien machine, but an echo of thought itself etched into the architecture of a hollow comet, drifting quietly through the corridors of infinity. In science, The smallest anomaly can shatter the largest certainty. For 3I Atlas, that anomaly is water appearing where no water should be. NASA's Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory recently detected something extraordinary: a steady plume of water vapor streaming from 3I Atlas at a rate of 88 pounds per second. At first glance, this seems unremarkable. Comets often release vapor as they approach the sun. But the shock lies in where this is happening. 3I Atlas is still 3 astronomical units away, farther than the orbit of Mars, far too cold for ice to sublimate under normal solar heating. And yet, it breathes. Imagine a snowball hissing steam in the vacuum of deep space long before it feels the warmth of sunlight. This should be impossible. According to every model of thermodynamics, the water inside a comet remains locked in crystalline form until it nears the sun's furnace. But 3I Atlas has been venting steadily for months, its emissions consistent, unwavering, almost regulated. That word regulated shouldn't apply to a natural object. Nature sputters, cracks, and flares chaotically. But this comet seems to manage its energy, releasing gas in pulses that maintain stability rather than chaos. When plotted on emission graphs, its vapor output forms not a noisy scatter, but a smooth curve, rhythmic, mathematical, almost intentional. How can such equilibrium exist in a structure so hollow, so fragile, and moving so fast? Some astrophysicists speculate about thermal channels, networks of porous tunnels conducting heat from its surface deep into the core. Others propose buried pockets of supervolatile compounds, frozen gases that awaken prematurely. But these explanations stumble against the data. The rate of vapor loss remains constant, even as 3I Atlas changes its distance from the Sun. That is not behavior, it's control. If the comet's hollow architecture is artificial, then perhaps those channels aren't fractures at all, but design. A system built to circulate energy evenly across its shell, preventing catastrophic stress. In human terms, this would be the equivalent of a spacecraft managing its own thermal equilibrium during interstellar flight. It sounds audacious, yet the universe has a habit of rewarding audacity. And here's the strangest part. As the vapor rises, it refracts sunlight in wavelengths that amplify the comet's eerie green hue. The very water it exhales seems to sustain its ghostly luminescence. If this is coincidence, it is a breathtaking one, a natural choreography of chemistry and light. But if not, if it is deliberate, then we are witnessing not the breath of a comet, but the respiration of a mechanism built for endurance. Whatever 3I Atlas truly is, its steady exhalation reminds us of a larger truth. The cosmos is not dead matter drifting aimlessly. It is alive with patterns, rhythms, and perhaps, just perhaps, purpose. Because somewhere, between the silence of the stars and the whisper of vapor from this interstellar wanderer, we may be hearing the universe breathing back. In science, silence can be louder than revelation. When the universe speaks in anomalies, our telescopes listen. But when the instruments go quiet, when data disappears into bureaucratic shadows, that silence becomes a mystery of its own. Right now, that silence surrounds 3I Atlas. As it passed near Mars, several orbiters, NASA's MAVEN, the European Space Agency's Mars Express, and China's Tianwen-1 were perfectly positioned to capture high-resolution data of the comet's plasma tail and spectral composition. Yet, weeks have passed, and not a single dataset has been made public. The instruments worked, the timelines align, but the results remain missing. And this is not the first time. When Oumuamua swept through our solar system in 2017, its radar readings were held for months. When Borisov appeared 2 years later, the same delay followed. Each time an interstellar object violates our expectations, the flow of information tightens, as if the cosmos itself trips a circuit of caution within human institutions. Why? Some whisper of conspiracy. I don't. As a physicist, I suspect something more: human fear. Not fear of aliens with metal ships and green skin, but fear of the extraordinary. Fear that the data might reveal something so unconventional that it breaks the language of our equations, the comfort of our models, the illusion that we truly understand the cosmos. For centuries, science has been built upon the courage to face the unknown. Yet courage, like curiosity, must constantly be renewed. The universe is under no obligation to fit our frameworks. When confronted with something that challenges the boundaries of reason, our first instinct is denial, our second is silence. But silence, too, is data. Perhaps this pause reflects the very moment before a paradigm shifts the inhale, before humanity exhales a new truth. Because if 3I Atlas proves natural, it will teach us something profound about the architecture of interstellar matter. And if it doesn't, if it turns out to be something else entirely, then we stand at the threshold of a new epoch, not of astronomy, but of contact. In that silence, the universe waits, watching whether our fear will hold us back or our curiosity will push us forward. As 3I Atlas drifts beyond Mars and into the deeper night, one question lingers louder than all the data we've gathered. What exactly are we looking at? For weeks, telescopes across the world have traced its ghostly path, an object that behaves less like a wandering rock and more like something aware of its own trajectory. Its companions follow it in synchronized formation. Its green light pulses in patterns no comet has ever shown, and its hollow resilience defies every equation we trust. So we must ask, if this is nature, why does it mimic design? And if it is design, who or what designed it? Could 3I Atlas be a messenger, a probe built not to communicate, but to observe? Or perhaps something even simpler, an echo of intelligence drifting through time long after its creators are gone? What if civilizations far older than ours have already mastered the art of blending technology and physics until the two become indistinguishable? And here's the most unsettling thought of all. Maybe we were never the first to look outward. Maybe we were the last to realize we were being looked at. For centuries, humanity has pointed its instruments at the stars, believing we were the seekers, the explorers, the curious minds mapping an indifferent universe. But 3I Atlas challenges that illusion. It asks us to turn the telescope around not toward the sky, but toward our own assumptions about what it means to be alone. Because if this convoy truly exists, then the cosmos is no longer silent. It is speaking subtly, elegantly, and perhaps even deliberately. So tell me, what do you see, a coincidence of physics or a whisper of contact? Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. The universe may be listening closer than we think.
Is the connection we feel to the cosmos itself. Good night, and keep looking up.